Well, it is National Reptile Day, and what better way to celebrate than to talk with one of the experts? I'm talking about Coyote Peterson. Good to chat with you again. We had to catch up with you. I mean, we're talking about reptiles, and who better, right, than you with all those encounters you've had.
I've definitely had many reptile encounters at this point, so I feel like I can talk reptiles probably better than anything else.
If you can narrow down the top 5, I don't know if we want to say scariest or just most interesting encounters for you.
It's tough to ever say that any of them are scary considering I love reptiles so much. But in what would be considered number 5, so least scariest, maybe is an upcoming episode that we recently have that's about to be released on the Brave Wilderness channel. We just did one on timber rattlesnakes, and to catch these snakes, I was on a very steep decline on the side of a mountain, and we were literally surrounded by rattlesnakes all in the rocks and the grasses, and we couldn't see where they were. And we ended up uncovering 3 rattlesnakes within the course of this episode, and then we had to safely catch and move them off the side of this mountain so that we could collect biometrics.
Do you have a fear of any reptiles, by the way?
No, absolutely not a single reptile on the planet I don't think I'm afraid of, so.
Not surprised. Okay, and what about number 4 on the list?
A year ago now, we were filming in South America, in Brazil actually, doing an episode on anacondas. And the idea was to show to people that anacondas are not something that you necessarily need to be afraid of. So I swam with anacondas in an area of Brazil, and swimming in the water and getting face to face with an anaconda, despite the fact that I knew nothing was going to happen, is still pretty nerve-wracking. I mean, I'm sitting so close that at one point I was literally this close to an anaconda's face underwater, and its tongue is flicking out, sensing me and detecting me. And yeah, even though I knew nothing bad was going to happen, it was still a little nerve-wracking.
Okay, yeah, that right there was like a nightmare for me. But glad to hear everything went okay with that one. What about number 3?
Number 3 would probably also be a scenario for the Brave the Wild TV series that we filmed for Animal Planet. In the first episode, the pilot episode, I caught a 125-pound alligator snapping turtle. And to catch this turtle, I had to jump off the side of this like dock embankment into water that was over my head. I had to go completely underwater to be able to catch and bring this turtle to the surface so that we could get a better look at it. This turtle had never been caught before. It's legendary within the realm of Cleveland, Texas, and the experts that we were working with needed to collect the biometrics on this turtle. What was scary is that this turtle was so big that if it had bitten me, if like my arm or leg had gotten caught in its mouth, I could have been drowned in that scenario. So it was pretty dangerous. Let's take one to Australia. So a couple of years ago in Australia, I caught something called a sand monitor. And to catch this lizard, I had to climb about 30 feet up into a tree with a lot of broken branches. And I'm literally hanging on with one arm, leaning out on another branch to try to catch this lizard. And it's not necessarily that the reptile was in any way scary. It was scary, the situation that I had to put myself in to be able to safely catch and then get this lizard up close for the cameras.
All right, and the number 1 scariest reptile encounter for you, Coyote?
So my number 1 scariest encounter also was a lizard encounter, and this came from the only venomous lizard species in the United States, the Gila Monster. And I, unfortunately, was once bitten by a Gila Monster on accident. This wasn't an intentional bite. I got a GoPro camera too close to the face of this lizard. It swung around and latched onto my thumb. Not many people have been bitten by Gila Monsters, but I can tell you it is the most excruciating pain I have ever experienced, and it was definitely a very scary moment.
Always a great time catching up with Coyote Peterson, animal expert and author. You can catch his new book, Beast of Bites, that chronicles his top 10 scariest bites. You can also find more on him on his YouTube channel and on Animal Planet. For SA Live, I'm Jen Tobias-Struski.